haven't changed all that much. I thought I did. I've learned things, hopefully evolved in certain ways, but I imagined that I was going to return and be a little bit more stately and be a little wiser, maybe a little more, a little conservative. But it's not like that. I remember, you know, it's like I still like get enraged and I still feel certain things and I still like, you know, if my microphone stands in the way, I'll still push it away with the same energy. I still feel the same kind of energy coming from the people, from my hand to their hand, if we like grasp hands to shake hands.
I'm taking a picture.
Hey, Lenny. Got it.
So it was very easy for me to slip back, and whether it's talking to media and things, I sometimes, you know, might get bored, but it really isn't that hard. It's not hard at all. I don't like people taking my picture so much anymore. The idea of self-promotion is embarrassing for me at this time in my life. So I always hope that if I'm going to be involved in it, that maybe some good will come out of it, or something of worth will come out of it.
I was down in Georgia, nothing was as real as the streets beneath my feet, descending into air. Cauldron was a bubbling, the flesh was lean, and the women moved forward like piranhas in the stream. Then they spread themselves before me, an offering so sweet. And they beckoned, come on, eat, hey, that's how my cannibal, hey, eat, hey, that's how my cannibal, hey, eat.
My husband and I had planned to do a record. He wanted to play live again, and we also were very concerned about certain political issues. But when my husband died, I wanted to do an album to remember him, because he was a great man, but he was very modest and very reclusive, and I want to make sure that people remember him. I didn't see the MC5. I lived in a farm town in New Jersey, and I never even heard of them, really. But the MC5 was a big influence on Lenny Kaye, and Lenny Kaye, of course, was a founding member of the Patti Smith group with myself. So their influence came in through Lenny. I started reading books very early in life, and my mother started teaching me to read long before I went to school. I didn't quite understand that one could write their own book yet until I read Little Women. In Little Women, one of the lead characters, Jo, and I wanted to be very much like her. She was the rebellious spirit and the strong-minded one, and she wrote her own books, and that was very fascinating to me. And so I started formulating the idea that one could write their own books. I also had in mind I wanted to be like Albert Schweitzer. He was my first real hero. I thought for a while I would do missionary work or something of that nature. So I was sort of torn between missionary work and writing my own book. I didn't quite understand or know about painting yet, or the idea that I still wasn't totally aware of the fact that those options were open to people.
I was at this party. All I knew was James Brown and somebody put on Third Stone from the Sun. Everybody was looking at me, so I put out my whistle, the one shaped like a cigar with black pickups. By the end of Foxy Lady, it was pure amp damage. They were banging their pates against the plaster, but I was laughing hysterically. The ones who ripped their wigs fascinated me the most. To watch those bald and slick comet rushes for those shapes rushing the walls.
When you go from being the one who went like this in front of the stage to the person on the stage, you lose that excitement of being a spectator, you know. There's excitement on both sides, you know. And being a spectator, you can never have the powerful feeling you feel on stage. I have to admit, it's even better than being with a man, and it's almost better than that. When people like stand up and cheer for you, it's like so moving.
There's like a emergence of sensuality and intelligence in French literature. And I don't mean erotic. I mean there's just a certain sensual musical intelligence in French literature, whether it was Nerval or Baudelaire or Rimbaud, or even somebody as arch and erratic as Artaud. I mean, I got to the point when I was young, if somebody was French, I'd buy it, you know. So thus I started, you know, I found Verlaine and Jules Lafarge and whoever. And I developed a lot of my aesthetics through French literature. I mean, just the way that I dress really came from looking at the 19th century French writers, you know, whether it be Baudelaire or obscure ones. You know, they had a certain way of dressing, you know, with the frock coat and, you know, a big overcoat and like a steamer coat.
In my whole life, I was always, no matter where I lived, Chattanooga, Chicago, South Jersey, I was always an outcast. You know, even my own neighborhood, even in my own family, I looked different than my whole family. I always felt alien. Not that I wasn't loved, but people all thought I was weird looking and skinny and all that. I had an eye patch, which I've since got rid of. When I came, and I never had no friends or boyfriends. When I came to the city, my whole life changed.
There she is, a poet. I'm kind of a garage punk guitar player, just trying to keep up and learn a new chord every once in a while. And we're very far from what any accepted notion of a rock band would be. And so we didn't really think about where it might go because we didn't know.
The work that Lenny and I were setting out to do, and the work that also like Richard Hell and Tom Verlaine, we were all doing similar things in the very early 70s, and that was consciously merging poetry and rock and roll, trying to open up a communication ground, developing a scene. Because in New York in the early 70s, there were no places to play. Everything was either like a big stadium or theatrical things like David Bowie and things like that, or folk music. So we made our place. CBGB's was a little bar down in the Bowery, right near where William Burroughs lived, where the winos and the bums slept on the streets, you know, where dogs peed in front of, and it was just a little bar that nobody cared about. It was always empty. Nobody cared about CBGB's.
a Jew. Oh, he's so cool. He had no decision. He's just trying to sell a vision. Was he on display? No, not today. All that guy ever did.
Television, I think, was the first band that played there. And there were maybe 14 people there. Lenny and I went there, and I was so excited to see this band because they were doing a lot of what we were doing.
Then when I came to New York, I started writing for rock and roll magazines. And it's such a strange feeling. You feel like something's lost, you know? Now I can't look at a rock and roll magazine with the same excitement because I can write for anyone I want, you know?
And she was actually the first person to write about television, the band. And I played on her first little single.
Tom Verlaine and Richard Hell both being poets, intelligent, a little wild, raggedy, like ourselves, you know, in our, you know, and dressed in rags, and I saw a real future. I felt a real brotherhood with them.
We just wanted to excite ourselves, and the way to do that was to try to create some kind of new sound, although it might sound pretentious. We didn't want to play Chuck Berry rock and roll. We didn't want to play Rolling Stones rock. You know, we wanted to do something that was, I don't know, find a way to excite ourselves, not by reproducing something.
And we played there for weeks and weeks and months, and young people started coming from all over to come to CBGB's, because at last we had a place. But we created that place.
Everybody feel it, you know, feel it, it's from each day. It's the angels, got the really, and honey, honey, I'll show you the way. And I know, sometimes, you gotta kiss and kiss you up the sky. And I know, sometimes, baby, I'll show you the way.
Bands started forming, like the Dead Boys, and then of course Television, and then Talking Heads came, Blondie and Ramones, and it was a good period, but no better and not even as good as tomorrow's period.
I love scenes. It's like almost the bands sometimes are incidental. I wish I could have been over in England when the Manchester scene happened. You know, because there's like a little specific instance of a sound that suddenly captures the attention of the world.
Early, mid-70s was built on that desire, that energy to reclaim and reinvent rock and roll. Inject it with painting, poetry, politics. Scenes are made by people. Scenes don't invent themselves.
If you really put your eye to it, you can see that kind of thing happening all over any year. You could really see it in Seattle because the bands were somewhat similar to the band ideals of the 70s. But when the hip-hop thing first started, you know, out there in Queens, you know, I'm sure that the same group of people who just were doing their music and the bolt of lightning struck them.
what we were trying to do with Rock and Roll Nigger was take a word that was narrow and specific, a word that was used to hurt people of a specific race, and reinvent the word so that it could be used as a proud badge instead of something that hurt people. I improvised a lot of poetry on stage, and I was very good at it. I could just spill language on stage, and then one day, it stopped happening. All of a sudden, it just stopped coming. But I had so much to express, so I picked up an electric guitar, but I didn't want to play songs. I wanted to express sonically the things, the language that was no longer coming. We improvised quite a bit in those days, and I listened to a lot of John Coltrane and Albert Ayler, and really started studying sound. I could make feedback sound like a violin or sound like screaming seagulls, but I couldn't play a song, but I could play sound and I could play feelings.
I don't really think of Patti as a female artist, because our whole point as a band was to move beyond definition of race, definition of gender, definition of musical category. You know, we wanted to have the freedom to be able to have a hit single or a field of noise. I think Patti wanted to explore all the different genders. It called for a certain androgyny, no matter what our sexual inclinations were. And in that way, you find your freedom.
Jala kiss, Mr. Death. I'll kiss, Oscar Wilde. Ja lives, Mr. Thorpe. Time is now. Time is now. The boy looked at Johnny. Johnny wanted to run. Johnny wanted to move, but the movie kept moving as planned. The boy gripped Johnny. He pressed him against a locker. He drove it and he drove it home. He drove it deep in Johnny. The boy disappeared. Johnny fell on his knees, started crushing his head against the locker. Started it, crushing his head against the locker. Started living mistakenly. When suddenly, Johnny gets a feeling he's been surrounded by horses, 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 coming in all directions, white, shining, silver, stuck with the nose in flames. He saw horses, 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 beating on a pony, like Boney Maroney. Do you know how to twist? Well, it goes like this, then you mash potato. To the alligator, and you twist the twister. Like your baby sister, want your baby sister, give me your baby sister, teach your baby sister to rise up from the knees. To the sweet pea, there's a sweet pea, roll down on your back. See it like that, like that, like that, and then you do the what you see, do the what you see. Like his little holes. Johnny's just laying there in his burn coffin. Angel comes up to him and says, "Can't you show me nothing but surrender?" Johnny gets up, takes off his leather jacket, takes to his chest. There's the answer. He got penknives and jackknives and switchblades for fur. Switchblades for fur. They cry, they scream, say, "Let's do pain." They're pushing through my veins, and I feel the earth with snow. It's a pretty little place. It's a phone's a trap in the name of them place. Say, ah! In taking more than one possibility. If you are male and choose other than female, you must take responsibility of holding the key to freedom.
This is the first place I came to in New York, was the Chelsea Hotel, because Dylan Thomas, like, was one of my big heroes. And so, like, Dylan Thomas used to hang out on this very roof. And I'm sure, like, he threw up a couple, one too many rums or something off this roof. Looked at the old Empire State Building right here. And I've always, liked to be where the big guys were, you know.
I was living at the Chelsea Hotel at the time, and it just seemed like an interesting idea. I just thought it would be interesting to have a ring through your tit, because I'd maybe seen it in a movie or something, but it wasn't something anybody had at that moment.
As a friend, he helped me to build confidence in my work and to think of myself, even in a youthful time, because we knew each other when we were 19 years old, as artists, to have a concept of oneself as an artist. That was always really important to Robert, not as an apprentice, not as a student, but as an artist.
I was kind of naive or primitive in the sense that I just got a Polaroid camera and I started taking pictures. I've been perfecting it over the years, but it was all there from the start. And when I first started taking Polaroids, I was working with photographs that dealt with sexuality, portraits. At the time, it was Patti Smith, because we were living together. I mean, probably the first portraits I took were of her.
It was the first inclination indication that God had met his match. It was the first inclination indication. Someone this is the indication for the initiation.
The basic theme, I guess, is the struggle between heaven and earth, good and evil.
At this time, very.
One reason I guess I'm quite thankful that I'm the age I am, because I was able to live through the whole 60s and you know, I was an art student. It was perfect, you know, perfect timing to go through those changes which we all went through at that time, I think. It's a moment that I'm glad I sort of experienced here in New York.
New York is the thing that seduced me. New York is the thing that formed me. New York is the thing that deformed me. New York is the thing that perverted me. New York is the thing that converted me. And New York's the thing I love, too. Yeah, it's my little prayer for New York.
Jesus died for somebody's sins, but not mine.
I give a shit, you know. I'm not afraid of death. You know, it's like, you know, I'm not afraid of anything except for fear itself.
I don't really care to, at this point of my life, analyze my youth or blame any particular aspect of my youth for this or this or this. You know, I really, I had work. You know, I had vision. I had drive, and so I had a calling. So I really no matter, you know, how difficult things might have been around me, I still, in looking at my life, consider myself a very lucky person.
Break on through the other side, it's just like going through one door. One door isn't enough. 1,000,000 doors aren't enough. You have to go beyond one reflection, beyond the mirror, beyond.
The reason that I stopped performing or ended that particular phase of my work was that I really believed in 1979 that I had accomplished certain things I had set out to accomplish in the arena of rock and roll. I didn't set out to be a rock and roll star. I set out to open the field for other people. I set out to help raise rock and roll to it as an art form, as well as keep it raw.
Take me now, baby, here as I am. Pull me close, try and understand. Desire is hunger, is the fire I breathe. Love is a banquet for which we feed. Disguised as last, here in my bed until the morning comes.
My first reaction when Patti said it was over is that she's right. You know, what else could we want from music except to maybe make money from it, which has never been my prime directive anyway. We had accomplished nearly everything we set out to do as a band. You know, we'd even had our hit single. You know, we toured the Western world. We'd made 4 albums that I feel are each very strong in their conceptions and tell the story of the band well.
If you do a great piece of work or a good piece of work, it will endure. Your fame won't endure, your fortune won't endure, but if you develop yourself as a human being and an artist and do an honorable piece of work, that will endure.
We'd inspired a number of musicians, none of which sounded like us, which to me is the greatest blessing, that, you know, what they get from you is pure inspiration. And we'd explored the music that each member of the band, and most especially Patti, had within them. This was the tale of a band that began in front of 200 people in St. Mark's Church on the Lower East Side at a poetry reading, and ended up in front of 70,000 people at a Florence soccer stadium. You can write a better movie if you tried.
Whatever path I would have had, I would have done a similar type of thing. I would have at least closed that phase of my existence and perhaps gone to a monastery, perhaps, or found a master in some field and tried to learn or evolve. I did find a master. Fred was a master.
Hi, hello, awake from thy sleep. God has given your soul to keep. All of the power that burns in a flame ignites the light in a single name. Flattery, name of care, as to sleep in himself with guardian angels lie above. Shed your light on my sleepy head. On the threshold, yearning to sing. I'm with the dancers, having one last fling. Here's to the moment when we said hello. A coat of my spirit, are you ready? Let's go. Hey, hey, maybe we will come back someday now. Tonight, I'm into the dive. Up above in the land of love. Name of care, high above the sky is bare. All the things I'm dreaming of, I'll express the name of love with flattery. Frederick.
Through the 80s, where I was really living very quietly and studying, writing, and raising children, and developing very high communication with my husband, in coming back, I see that we haven't progressed too much. I think that we have ways to globally communicate through rock and roll, through the new technologies such as internet and things, which I can't claim to totally understand, but there is a lot of global communicating going on. It's just we're not doing anything with it. We have a world that's filled with environmental crises. We have species going extinct. The whole planet is imbalanced, and it's man's responsibility to do what he can to unify and balance our planet. I don't know what it's going to take for us to stop being so nationalistic and I don't just mean America, I mean all strong countries, for us all to merge and come together and help one another, but help one another deeply. I mean really seriously exchange information and help each other and feed each other. I don't know what kind of crisis has to happen, but we have to wake up. I mean, we have to, well, anyway, sorry.
Angel fallen, angel blessed.
What I want to do more than anything is to write. Right now it seems that my path seems to be involved in music and performing and communicating with people. Perhaps right now that's what's chosen for me. It seems like it is written that this is the particular work that I should be doing. And I have a feeling that this will not last. It's not too far in the future where again I'll, be withdrawing from that, and I'll find the perfect work table and begin writing again.
She is sublimation. She is the essence of being. She is concentrating on being, concentrating on she. Going that way, I spin so ceaselessly. He's taking over me. I'm dancing back.
Nächsten Samstag.